If I told you that something sitting in your kitchen right now, something sweet, harmless, and comforting, could quietly reshape your gut after 60, would you believe me? And what if I told you that 97% of seniors, yes, almost everyone your age, has no idea it's happening? Your gut isn't just about digestion anymore. After 60, it controls your energy, your immunity, your mood, even the sharpness of your memory. That's why understanding what honey really does inside your aging gut matters more than most people ever realize. Stay with me until the end, because you're about to learn the 5 gut changes honey can trigger after 60, the hidden risks, the unexpected benefits, and how to enjoy honey safely without stressing your digestive system. Before we dive in, comment "Honey Health Check" if you're ready to learn something most people your age never get told. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide for more eye-opening health insights. Now, let's talk about the very first change honey can trigger after 60, and honestly, it's the one most people never connect to their daily habits. Picture this for a moment. You stir a spoon of honey into your warm evening tea, just the way you've done for years. It melts, it smells sweet, it feels comforting. But now, at 65 or 70, something is different. A few minutes later, your stomach feels heavier, maybe you notice more gas than usual, maybe a little bloating. Maybe a quiet discomfort you can't quite explain. And you might brush it off at first. Maybe you think, oh, it's the tea, or maybe I ate too fast. But what if the real reason is the honey itself? Here's the thing most people don't realize: as you age, your gut bacteria shift. Not in a dramatic way, but in subtle, steady changes. Some bacteria weaken. Some slowly disappear. Others grow stronger. And honey, because it's rich in natural sugars, can ferment much faster inside this older, slower, more delicate gut environment. That extra fast fermentation produces more gas, more pressure, more bloating. And because seniors often have slower digestion to begin with, that gas has more time to build up before your body moves it along. The funny part is, honey has a clean, wholesome reputation. People say, but it's natural, it's pure, it's healthy. And it is natural. But natural doesn't always mean gentle for an aging digestive system. Your gut at 25 is not your gut at 65. So, what can you do if you love honey, but it suddenly feels too strong for your stomach? The solution is simple. Instead of taking honey late at night or on an empty stomach, try having it earlier in the day. Or pair it with something like eggs, yogurt, or nuts, foods with protein that slow down the fermentation process. Most people are shocked at how much lighter their stomach feels with that one small change. But here's the thing. Fermentation is only the beginning. Honey triggers another gut change after 60. Now let's move into the second change honey can trigger after 60, and this one catches people off guard because it feels so unrelated. A man named Robert once told me something that really stuck with me. He said, "I switched from sugar to honey because everyone said it was healthier, but now, every time I take it, I feel lightheaded afterward." He couldn't understand it. He thought he was doing the right thing. And honestly, he was trying to. But here's what most seniors don't realize: your body handles honey very differently as you get older. After 60, your insulin sensitivity naturally drops. That simply means your body doesn't manage sugar as efficiently as it used to. And honey, despite the sweet, wholesome reputation, still spikes blood sugar. It may be natural, but it's still sugar. For some people in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, that spike is sharper, higher, and lasts longer than anything they expect. That sudden surge can make you feel shaky, tired, even a little dizzy. And because the aging body processes things more slowly, the recovery from that spike takes longer too. The misunderstanding is common. A lot of people think, honey is safer for diabetes, or, honey won't raise my sugar like regular sugar does. But that isn't always true. For some seniors, honey can actually be more unpredictable than a teaspoon of regular sugar, simply because of how the body changes with age. So, what can you do if you enjoy honey but want to avoid those uncomfortable sugar swings? The simplest step is to limit yourself to just a teaspoon at a time. Not a big squeeze from the bottle. Not a heaping spoon. Just one level teaspoon. And never on an empty stomach. Always pair it with a meal or a snack so your body absorbs it more slowly and more gently. But here's the part most people don't expect. Honey doesn't just affect your sugar levels. It also has a direct impact on the protective lining inside your gut, something that becomes more delicate with every passing decade. Let's move into the third change honey can trigger after 60, and this one often goes unnoticed because the symptoms feel so mild, so subtle, that people rarely connect the dots. I want you to imagine your gut lining for a moment, not as some medical term, but as a soft, gentle cushion that protects everything inside your stomach. When you're younger, that cushion is thick, strong, and resilient. But after 60, it naturally becomes thinner. More fragile. More sensitive to anything that passes through it. And this is where honey can create unexpected trouble. Most people don't realize that honey is slightly acidic. For a younger gut, this acidity is nothing, the stomach lining handles it easily. But for a senior, especially someone who has mild gastritis, reflux, or a naturally weaker stomach lining, that little bit of acidity can irritate the tissues. It's not a sharp pain. It's not a burning fire. It's usually something gentle but persistent, a faint warmth in the stomach, a little flutter of discomfort, or that quiet feeling of something just isn't sitting right. And because honey feels so pure and harmless, people rarely suspect it. One of the biggest misunderstandings I hear is this idea that honey automatically heals the gut. Yes, honey has antibacterial properties. Yes, it has antioxidants. But that doesn't mean it strengthens the gut lining. If your stomach is already sensitive, the acidity and sugar concentration in honey can actually make irritation worse. So, what can you do if honey brings on that little burn, that slight tightness, or that uneasy warmth in your stomach? A simple option is to switch from taking honey directly on a spoon to mixing raw honey into warm, not hot, water. Warm water helps dilute the acidity, making it gentler and easier for your stomach lining to handle. Many seniors feel a noticeable difference with just this one small change. But irritation is just one piece of the puzzle. Now, the fourth change honey can trigger after 60 is something most people never think about, yet it's happening quietly inside the gut every single day. Think back to a time when your stomach felt calm and predictable. You could eat almost anything, and your body handled it without much protest. But as the years pass, even the smallest changes in your diet can create noticeable shifts. Little reactions, little surprises your gut didn't used to have. And honey plays a bigger role in that than most people realize. Honey is food, not just for you, but for your gut bacteria. And here's the interesting part, honey feeds certain bacteria more than others. In younger adults, this usually isn't a problem because the gut has a wide variety of microbes that balance each other out. But in seniors, bacterial diversity naturally decreases with age. You don't have the same wide mix you once did. The gut becomes more selective, more fragile. And when honey enters that environment, it can unintentionally encourage overgrowth of the sugar-loving bacteria. These bacteria thrive on the natural sugars in honey. They multiply faster. They crowd out the weaker strains. And before you know it, your gut feels different, maybe more sensitive, maybe more reactive, maybe more unpredictable. This is where a common misconception shows up. A lot of people think honey automatically boosts good bacteria. But honey doesn't pick sides. It doesn't know which bacteria are good or bad. It feeds everything in its path. So, if your gut is already a little unbalanced, or if your helpful bacteria are fewer than they used to be, honey can accidentally give the wrong microbes too much fuel. The good news is, there's a simple way to keep things steady. Always pair honey with fiber-rich foods, like oats, whole grains, nuts, or even a piece of fruit. Fiber slows down the digestion process and helps spread that sugar energy more evenly across your gut bacteria, instead of feeding only the fast-growing ones. It's a gentle way to help your gut stay balanced, especially as you get older. But bacteria shifts aren't the end of the story. The fifth change honey can trigger after 60 is something many seniors feel but rarely put into words. It's that quiet shift where honey starts to feel different. A little too strong. A little too intense on the stomach, even though you've enjoyed it for decades. I've heard so many people say, "I don't know what happened, honey used to soothe my stomach, but now it almost feels like it's too much." And they're not imagining it. This change is real. As you age, the immune system inside your gut becomes more reactive. Not in a dangerous way, but in a way that makes your digestive tract more sensitive to certain foods. Honey, with its natural sugars and mild acidity, can trigger a small inflammatory response in people who already have a sensitive gut. It's not the dramatic type of inflammation you hear about on TV. It's subtle. It can feel like warmth, or tightness, or a little irritation that lingers after you eat. And because honey is such a natural, familiar food, most people never think to question it. There's also a big misconception that inflammation only comes from unhealthy or processed foods, fried meals, packaged snacks, artificial additives. But the truth is, even natural foods can cause inflammation under the right conditions. Especially in a gut that's aging, slowing down, and becoming more reactive. If honey suddenly feels too sharp or too heavy, there's a gentle way to work around it. Try switching to darker, less processed honey varieties. They tend to be richer in antioxidants and easier on sensitive stomachs. You can also start with smaller amounts, just half a teaspoon, so you can feel how your body responds without overwhelming your gut. But these changes, these reactions, they're not just about food. There's a deeper emotional truth behind them. It can feel unsettling, even a little discouraging, to realize that foods you've trusted your whole life, foods that once felt gentle and familiar, might be affecting you differently now. And it's okay to feel that. It's okay to wonder why your body is changing, or why things don't feel the same as they did years ago. But this moment, right here, isn't about fear. It's not about giving things up or worrying about every bite you take. This is about awareness. About understanding your body on a deeper level. About taking control of your health with knowledge that most people your age never hear, even though it could make their daily life so much more comfortable. You're not being warned, you're being empowered. And if you've noticed bloating, irritation, or those unpredictable reactions after eating honey, take a moment to really listen to your body. Not with fear, but with curiosity. Your body is always talking to you. Sometimes gently. Sometimes loudly. But it's always trying to guide you toward what feels right. A tiny shift in your habits, a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon, adding fiber, eating it earlier in the day, switching to a darker variety, can bring real comfort. Small changes matter more than you realize. And here's what's most important. You're not losing your strength. You're not losing your health. You're not falling apart. You're simply moving into a new chapter of understanding your body, one where wisdom replaces guessing, and awareness replaces worry. Your body is still strong. Still capable. Still working with you. You're just learning how it has evolved, and adapting in the most intelligent way possible. And there is so much hope in that. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to bring everything together. We've talked about the 5 major ways honey can affect your gut after 60. Fermentation changes that lead to bloating, those unpredictable blood sugar spikes, the subtle irritation of your gut lining, the overgrowth of sugar-loving bacteria, and that heightened sensitivity that makes honey feel stronger than it used to. These changes don't happen to everyone, but they're common enough that they're worth paying attention to. Especially if you've noticed your body reacting differently. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these changes surprised you the most? Have you ever felt bloating, discomfort, or a strange reaction after eating honey? Or maybe you noticed something but never connected it to honey at all. Share your experience in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to understand their own body a little better. And if videos like this help you feel more informed, more aware, and more connected to your health, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This channel is here to support you, with simple explanations, gentle guidance, and insights that make aging feel calmer, clearer, and a lot less confusing. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your gut, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.